picture of the fight for life in our country and in the state of New Mexico. I'm Laura Rosecrans with the Hub of New Mexico and with the Coalition for Life of New Mexico, and we have
Monte Harms, who I don't know what my title is at the moment. Pro-life advocate.
And board director for Coalition for Life.
Yeah. That sounds like a good title.
That's a good title, right?
Yes.
Well, good. And we're on with you today. Normally, we have been asking national pro-life guests to come on with us, and our main goal was to be able to bring this to you, the show to you, every other Thursday, so that you can become aware of what's going on nationwide with the pro-life movement. I know sometimes, we get so focused on what's going on in our own personal space that we don't realize that this fight is actually nationwide, worldwide. And so we just wanted today to do things a little bit different, right, Monte?
Yes.
We're thinking about just doing kind of a recap on the show, letting you know who we have on, and then also what's going on in New Mexico. There's a lot of exciting things coming up in the state of New Mexico, so we want to make sure that you are aware of what's happening, and so that way you can plug in and join us with all the things that Coalition for Life of New Mexico is doing.
Yeah, we had, well, this is almost coming up to a year that we've had this show.
Wow, that's amazing.
And when we started, I mean, I had no experience at all, so I thank you for for
I
leading
didn't either,
the show.
I didn't either, first of all.
But we were able to get some wonderful guests, and we've never had someone said, "Oh boy, we're glad. This is over." We've had, like, for a half hour, numerous guests on all different topics.
Yes.
From the pro-life world, nationwide and even internationally.
Yes.
That they were so informative. They even helped us on, like saying how we could start a coalition here, that type of thing.
Yeah, it's been an awesome opportunity, and we've gotten to speak to a lot of people that are just making such an impact all over the United States and the world, actually. For instance, we had Tammy Cook with Justice for All, Brian Fisher with Human Coalition, and defending the pro-life position. That was you and me that got to do that. And then we had your friend, Reggie.
Oh, Reggie Littlejohn from Women's Rights Without Frontiers.
She's awesome.
Which, I mean, she was awesome. And it brought up a topic that many people don't know about what's going on in China, how on the forced abortions, and her organization goes in and helps these women, saves the babies, and then helps them afterwards. And it was really interesting to hear from her.
Yes, it was. She was awesome. And then, of course, we had our sidewalk advocate, executive director Lauren Musica with us, and Shadi Patterson with the local, Elisa Martinez with the New Mexico Alliance for Life, and Pastor Richard Mansfield.
Oh yeah, Richard Mansfield's been great.
He's
and
awesome.
Yes, and whenever you want to get a view from the church perspective or biblical perspective, he is awesome.
He's a great one to have on. And of course we had Brian Westbrook on with us, who talked to us about the Coalition for Life of St. Louis. And Mark Cavalier, our good buddy down in Las Cruces, who actually kind of spurred us on to do the Coalition for Life of New Mexico. They're the ones that were able to shut down that abortion clinic in Las Cruces by the grace of God through prayer.
Right, and it gave you guys the idea to start the coalition up here, and it proves what you can do when everybody gets together. And he had quite a group down there in Las Cruces that closed that. And we can do it here in New Mexico, that we will talk about in a while. Because of our 2 abortion facilities here, or 3 I should say.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we had Leah Mills was actually kind of one of our favorites.
She is awesome.
She's this young college girl from Canada, and she actually came out when she was like 12 years old with video that she did for school about how to defend the pro-life position, and it went viral. It was so amazing. And she kept being a pro-life advocate through high school and college, and she talked about all the blowback she gets from everybody else, and her fellow students, but she's really strong, and it was really great to, and it was great to hear some what's going on in Canada also.
Absolutely. There's only 4 nations that allow abortion up to 40 weeks, late-term abortion. That's North Korea, China, Canada, and the United States. And in the United States, there's only 8 states in our country that allows that. So that's just to let you see where we are in the state of New Mexico. And then we had Donnie Dulce, of course, with Right to Life of New Mexico, and Rebecca Kiesling with Save the One.
Yes, and she's had been all over the world, you know, promoting, you know, not having exceptions in bills.
Exactly. She's awesome.
And then we had Katie Yoder, which was a great guest. She's with Newsbusters and Media Research Council, and they focus on a lot of the hypocrisy in the media.
Yes.
And how they, like, they didn't cover the Gosnell trial. They didn't cover, you know, they only cover one side of the Planned Parenthood situation. They didn't even have anything about the videos or anything like that. And she was actually on Fox News last week, so I think we should get some of the credit here.
Good. we made her famous. Awesome. And then we had Kelsey Hazard. That I really enjoyed that interview. I'm so glad you got her, because she came on to talk to us about, you know, when we think about pro-life, we think about the Christian church, the evangelicals, the Catholic Christians. But this young lady came on to talk to us about the secular side of the pro-life activity.
An atheist. Yeah.
And she's an atheist. And I thought, you know, that was so awesome to have her on, because it kind of gives you more of a general overview of how the pro-life movement has gone into every walk of life.
And I think, yeah, Christians, I mean, obviously they look at it from a Christian perspective sometimes, but really this is something that can be fought on all different levels.
Absolutely.
And as we mentioned when we had our show on defending the pro-life position, it can be done with science or philosophy and all that. And so there's all different angles to take, and so it was great having her on.
Yeah, it was, absolutely. And David Beeright, of course, with 40 Days for Life. He's awesome, and he's also a great encouragement to us with the 40 Days for Life movement. And Pat Neserato and Ethel Maharg, which was way back
in the beginning.
Yeah,
but yeah, he was the director of the movie Voiceless, which I thought, wow, he's talking to these little people back in New Mexico. It was the day the movie came out, so it was like,
which was very gracious of him.
Yes, and so it was really great. And it's always been great to have local guests like Ethel on too.
Absolutely. And then of course we had our first guest, which was Jill Stanek, and she's a good friend of yours, correct?
Yes, and she's like one of the top pro-life advocates, and she had her own site, and she works with SB A-List right now, and dealing with the kind of the political side, where they deal with, you know, interacting with Congress and type of things. So it's been a great 10 or 11 months we've had, and we thought it was just time to take a step back and then and see what we've done and see what the future holds for us.
Absolutely. And so you can find all these guests if you're curious and you want to see our past interviews or listen to our past interviews, because we didn't do them on Facebook because we had the other person on the other side of the line. So this is the first time we've actually done a Facebook post on this. But you can go to Culture of Life on Facebook. Monte also has a Twitter now that's called Culture of Life. And you can check out, just look for Culture of Life on Twitter. And and soon we will have the Coalition for Life's webpage of New Mexico coming up, and I'm going to put all the Culture of Life stuff onto there, so that way people can tune into the webpage also for that. So right now you can find it on the Hub of New Mexico, thehubnm.com. So we're going to talk now about what is going on in New Mexico, Monte, because there's all kinds of exciting stuff coming up. We're getting busy.
Yes.
God gave us a little bit time of rest, but He has now said rest is over. Time to move forward now. So let's talk about what's going on in the state of New Mexico.
Yes, and right now the main thing is Coalition for Life in New Mexico that you and Dan have spurred on and started, and this is going to be...
Actually, let me correct you. God's word.
Yes, yes.
we just
kind of follow what He happens.
Follow it. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah, this is definitely a God thing.
So this is, and this will be for all of New Mexico. Is that right?
Yes. We plan on. Of course, we're going to start off with what's closest to us, which is Albuquerque and Valencia County. But we've already been talking to other people throughout the state of New Mexico about, joining in with us. We've talked to a great group in Farmington. Las Cruces, of course, is on board with us. Mark has now taken the Coalition of Life of Las Cruces and made it into a Coalition for Life of the Southwest. So his vision is a lot bigger. So we will actually kind of fall in under the Coalition of Life of the Southwest, because he's kind of the big gun. So yeah, so that's where we're.
So I know a lot of people might be hearing this for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
What is the Coalition for Life in New Mexico, or what does it entail?
Well, why don't we let Dan Rosecrans, who is the Board of Director President, and he will explain what the Coalition for Life of New Mexico is.
I'd be glad to do that, and I got to say, this is something I can mark off on my bucket list. I always wanted to be on the Culture of Life broadcast.
Well, now it's off of my bucket list too, because I always wanted you on there.
The Culture of Life of New Mexico is an organization, an affiliation, a grouping of all of the pro-life groups, and in other words, where we're saying we want to work together. And our 5 stones, if you would, because we're going to battle a giant in the land of enchantment, and that giant is abortion. And like David, he went down to the stream before he went up to meet the giant, and he picked 5 smooth stones, the scripture tells us, and he put them in his shepherd's bag. What are the 5 stones that God's given us? They are, number 1, prayer. And we started that, Monte, by having prayer gatherings every Monday night here on the hub in New Mexico. Every Monday night at 6 o'clock we gather for a time of prayer. We have people joining us from around the state on the hub, on the phone line, via Facebook Live, so that we can get together for prayer. If we try to attack this without prayer, we will fail. Mm-hmm. This is the most important stone, as you would, in the armory of the Coalition for Life, is prayer. Number 2 is unity, which is something we've been working on for quite a while. Well, we've been working to do whatever we can to unite pro-life organizations. We've invited all the pro-life groups. Not all have opted to attend, and that's their choice. That's fine. But the ones who have decided that they want to get involved with it, we've seen some great strides as far as cooperation and unity, and it's been a great thing to see. The other next stone would be 40 Days for Life, and how important that is. These 2-time-a-year campaigns, one's that's coming up in the fall, starting September the 27th, and then another one that takes place during the Lenten season in the spring. These peaceful, prayerful presence at abortion clinics, and we want to expand that this year. We're going to be starting off in the fall by being at Planned Parenthood. We're going to be at Curtis Boyd Southwestern Women's Options, and we're going to have a presence in Santa Fe as well at Planned Parenthood up there. So there's going to actually be 3 3 40 Days for Life events in the central part of the state, plus the one in Santa Teresa that Coalition for Life Southwest is going to be doing, and they're expanding to do one 40 Days for Life in El Paso, at kind of the mothership that's abortion clinic around there. The 4th stone is sidewalk advocates, and we're hoping that we can continue to encourage, nurture, and even grow our sidewalk advocates. And part of the plan to do that, Monte, is by getting more and more people involved with 40 Days for Life. And of course, the 5th stone that we have in our little shepherd's bag is education. One of the things, I think one of the premier pieces of education is what CareNet has come up with, and that is they're making life disciples. We've had the privilege of teaching that in Reserve, New Mexico.
Oh, great.
We're going to teach it. We want to teach it wherever we get the opportunity and encourage other areas to jump in on this and understand what it's like for the church to be on the front line of this abortion
That's so
fight.
important.
It is, because we've been fighting this without the church. And many people in the church are the people who are going to get abortions.
Exactly, yes.
And I know that just kind of boggles people's minds, but Monte, it's a case. If we could stop abortion in the church, we might have a chance of stopping it in the United States.
And what I've heard so many times is that the women think that the church is the last place they can go to because they're going to be judged or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, to get the churches on board is a great thing. And then I have like one question. I know this has been tried. I even was involved in the National Unity Organization for pro-life groups, and you know, everybody has their own way of doing the pro-life movement. How do you get all those people to be under one banner and still coexist?
Without killing them?
Yes.
Well, the quick answer to that, the first answer to that is we pray. When we started coming together, the only thing we did was pray. I told them, we don't have an agenda. We want to see what God wants. So let's come together and pray. And we still do that on a monthly basis. And we took a bit of a summer hiatus. We take a month off in December for Christmas. But other than that, 9 months out of the year, we meet together second Wednesday night of every month to pray. So that's the cornerstone right there. That's what I'm saying. You can't accomplish this without prayer. The other piece about this is acknowledging exactly what you just said. Yeah, you want to do it this way. We want to do it that way. We think this is the answer. You think that's the answer.
Right.
Right. But we all do agree on this. We want to see abortion end. And so there are ways that we can do this together. And let's find those areas in which we can work together. If there are none, that's fine. Pray for me.
Right.
At least pray for me and stop criticizing one another. And that's one of the things that I was, right after we get started with this, I went to a meeting and there were politicians that were bashing on pro-lifers. And I came back here afterwards. I said, if I ever hear that again, I will call you out by name. And those politicians avoid me now, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean that. I won't stand for one individual, one pro-lifer or one politician to badmouth another pro-lifer without me saying, hey, wait a minute, that's my brother, that's my sister. This is my compatriot in arms, and I won't stand here quietly while you criticize them. I may not agree with the way they do things. I may not take that method, but you and I have the same purpose.
Right, and then you'll see where, and it might not be a case of agreeing or disagreeing. They just have a different way of doing it. Like some people focus on the political, and maybe like Right to Life in New Mexico or Alliance for Life, trying to change the laws, that type of thing. Other people might like to do everything online. Other people might want to be out there, protesting on the sidewalk or whatever that God calls them to do.
And everybody on the sidewalk has their own way of doing it.
Exactly. We know that.
Yeah. Everybody on the sidewalk has their own idea of how it works and what will work. Look, I've got some ideas. Laura and I have some ideas and things that we'll be incorporating, and not everybody's going to agree with it, I'm sure. But we want to work together with everybody to make this happen, because again, we all have the same vision, to see abortion end in New Mexico.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so there's of course the whole Satan wants to split everybody up. Yeah, and so because then he knows no one will be effective that way.
Right. And we've talked about this, Laura, you and I have talked about this, that Satan doesn't have any new tricks in his bag.
No, it's all
he keeps going back to the same old thing, and one of the things that he tries to do is divide. Divide and conquer. That's an old military strategy that certainly holds water, and it works.
Yes.
And Satan will keep coming back to that, and we have to be aware of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then I noticed that you've focused on, one of the focuses is sidewalk advocates.
Yes.
And there's been a little bit of controversy lately about what's happened in Louisville, Kentucky, where this whole group of pro-life advocates with, I believe it's Rescue, what's the name of the organization?
It used to be Operation Rescue.
No, it's Operation Save America, I believe, were arrested, and they wouldn't move out in front of an abortion facility out there. And now they face other charges.
Right.
And so Lauren Muzica, the head of Sidewalk Advocates, came out with a video, I believe it was yesterday, addressing this and how it can affect all those others on the sidewalk. And we want to listen to that for a few minutes.
Absolutely.
International Sidewalk Advocacy Organization.
minutes.
Okay, well, that was a great explanation of what it is that we do with Sidewalk Advocates. And,
Hello, friends. Lauren Musica here, Executive
you
Director
know,
of Sidewalk.
I think
Sidewalk
the
Advocates
most
for Life,
important
and
thing, Monte,
unfortunately
is
was
just that distinguish. We want to really make sure that people understand that when we're out there, we're not out there to be hateful or hurtful.
Right.
You know, I've been privileged to be able to be out there now, more on the sidewalks, and it's been such a blessing. And it's kind of interesting because the people that are coming out of the abortion clinic, we've had a couple of them say, "Oh, you're spewing, and we're kind of like, okay, we just told you Jesus loves you and God loves, but you know, in their minds, they
Yes.
hear that we're spewing, and so I think it's so important that we make sure that we do have that approach of love, and that we're not trying to spew. We're trying to show you that there's a better way.
And then the workers inside like Planned Parenthood
Yes.
and Boyd's will say, "Oh, they are spewing this
Yes.
stuff out there,"
Yes.
and so all it takes is one person to actually be spewing something, and
Yes.
it gives them ammunition
It gives
for
them
that.
more, absolutely.
So we have to be so careful what we say,
Absolutely.
and not have it. I mean, sometimes I think these protesters, even though they're doing it the way they think is
Right,
best,
in their
it's
hearts
the
is-
focus is
yeah.
on them. They're all our focus, it seems like, are
Yeah.
on them. And look at me, I'm going to lay here until you arrest me.
Yes.
And I know that their approach is, well, there's 60 million babies that have been killed, and so we got to stop this.
Yeah.
But so that just hurts the movement of some, because then that's what's out there. The other
That's
side
what-
will bring that up
That's-
constantly.
Absolutely, that's what the liberal media will focus on. And we're just going to touch real quick on 40 Days for Life. Please make sure that you check that out again. Like Dan was telling you, we do have 3 campaigns going on for the 40 Days for Life, which starts September the 27th. And you can go to 40daysforlife.com and you can sign up. Look for the little state of New Mexico, and you can click on there, and it'll bring up the campaigns that are going on here in New Mexico, and you can sign up. And we need you out there. And Monte, the reason why we need people out there isn't, I think people kind of freak out. I know I did when I first did 40 Days for Life. I thought, I don't know what to say. Well, we don't want you to say anything. Just, our sidewalk advocates are out there taking care of the women that are going in for abortions. All we need you to do is we need them out there to pray, have
Right.
a peaceful, prayerful presence.
Yes, and you can go out there exactly what you're saying, and only to pray.
Yes.
And then, as you move on, and God calls you to do more, you can take that sidewalk advocates training.
Yes.
So you know
Yes.
exactly what to say.
Mm-hmm.
But and always find someone else within your church. The more people, the better to go
Yes.
out there.
Absolutely.
And the site is great. Also, 40 Days for Life. It will give
It
you
is.
daily blogs and daily prayers to say to pray about what's going on, and will give you updates and all of that. But it is, I of course, it can be kind of scary, but start out by praying. It's a great first step.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is a great way to get your feet wet. If we have people asking us all the time, how can I get involved in the pro-life movement? This is the perfect opportunity for you. All we're asking for is just an hour, 1 day a week, and for you to go out there, make that commitment. And like Monte said, we really want two people out there at a time. If more, that sounds good. But it is definitely a great way to get involved in the pro-life movement and to stand up. Las Cruces did it. We can do it.
We can do it.
And they did it in 2.5 years. They shut down that abortion clinic. From the time that it started to the time that it shut down, it was 2.5 years. So God can do anything, and we need to be able to have that faith and that trust in our Savior.
And then we are in actually one of the crucial spots in the country.
Yes, absolutely.
Where we have late-term abortions, and women come from all over the country, even from out of the country,
Yes.
to have an abortion here.
Yes.
And we have to keep publicizing that, because
Yes.
I think people don't know or they forget about that.
They forget, yes, they do.
And of course, Planned Parenthood is always there.
Yes.
And then UNM has a strong presence in the abortion industry also. So
Yes, absolutely.
it can be done, like you said.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode of Culture of Life. We will be back again in a couple of Thursdays. You can tune in on Culture of Life on Facebook, or you can go to thehubnm.com and watch our past programs there. God bless you. Bye, Monte.
God bless you. Bye, Laura. Thank you, Dan.
Gotcha.
Thank you, dear.